In the early 80s, there was a lot to see. There was a lot to celebrate. And a lot to talk about.
The violence in South Africa continues. The office of President of the United States.
But there was one subject no one wanted to mention. Not until a world-renowned Hollywood icon decided that silence wasn't an option.
I have committed myself to the war on AIDS.
Elizabeth Taylor started speaking out at the local level, organising the first major AIDS fundraiser in Hollywood. Then she took on her nation.
Mr. Quayle, Senator Helms, your policy is wrong, dead wrong.
And ultimately, she went global.
Protect yourselves, love yourselves, respect yourselves, because the world needs you to live.
When there was no funding for research to develop life-saving medications or to find a cure, she co-founded the National AIDS Research Foundation, which merged with the AIDS Medical Foundation to become AMFAR and raised hundreds of millions of dollars.
You do your bit with all of your heart, and I do my bit with all of my heart. We will make a goddamn difference.
And when there was no one to help the most marginalized, she founded the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation. Her mission was to fund prevention education and direct care and services to people living with HIV/AIDS. Since 1991, the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation has given over $15 million to 650 organizations in 42 US states and 33 countries around the world. But the fight isn't over.
I call upon you to draw from the depths of your being to prove that we are a human race.
Globally, the HIV/AIDS crisis is more dire than most realize. There are 6,000 new infections every day and 35 million people living with HIV/AIDS, but only 1 out of every 3 has access to current life-saving antiretroviral drugs.
I lose myself tonight. It'll be by your side.
In the United States, prevention and care are still vital to survival.
I was diagnosed with HIV. I just came out last year to my family, said I was gay, and now for all this to be happening, it was a tough pill to swallow.
Young people don't even think about HIV anymore. The majority of new infections are under the age of 35.
I knew 3 things for sure. I knew what HIV was, I knew how you got it, and I knew I was never gonna get it. And next thing I know, I'm in a monogamous relationship and we both tested positive.
On the other side of the spectrum, people are living longer with HIV and AIDS, so that means there's more people for the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation to take care of.
But the crisis is worst of all in sub-Saharan Africa. That's why ETAF supports organisations such as Global AIDS Interfaith Alliance, which has created 7 Elizabeth Taylor mobile medical units that serve remote regions of Malawi, which have the highest HIV infection rate. Getting help to those who had to walk for an entire day to get healthcare. Since the program was initiated, AIDS deaths have dropped by more than 50%. In 2011, Elizabeth Taylor passed away, but her incredible work must and will continue, funding important programs that include syringe exchange, prevention and education.
Silence has meant death.
Food and nutrition, housing.
It is so helpful to women living with HIV. They really care about us, and it shows.
Medical and support services. And advocacy.
I will love you unconditionally.
Elizabeth Taylor showed the world what courage and commitment look like.
We will win. We must win for the sake of all humanity.
Her example is why we're still here. Still working.
And I will not be silenced.
Still caring.
And I will not give up.
Still fighting hard to make a difference.
And I will not be ignored.
the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation. Education, prevention, care. Our operating costs are paid for by Miss Taylor's estate, so 100% of every single dollar you give goes directly to those in need. Please, give what you can.